Remember when Joao Felix felt like the future of Portuguese football? At 19 years old, he became the most expensive teenager in football history in 2019. 126 million euros, more than what clubs paid for Kylian Mbappe and Cristiano Ronaldo in 2018. At 19, he was worth more than Zidane, Figo, and Ronaldinho. The wonderkid was seen as the heir to CR7, the prodigy who will rub shoulders with Mbappe. And the hype was so real just before this, at Benfica to be exact. Joao Felix's breakthrough came when he was promoted to Benfica's first team for the start of the 2018-19 season. He wasn't just another prospect, he was the prospect. He played 43 games, scored 20 goals and registered 11 assists, but the numbers don't tell the full story. It was how he played that made everyone lose their minds. He had the skills of Neymar, flamboyant and tricky. His touches at a young age showed his maturity. He made football look effortless even though he had a small frame. At 5'11", he glided past defenders like they weren't there. He had the vision of a number 10, the finishing of a striker, and the composure of a player twice his age. So good that by April 2019, Felix had Europe's biggest clubs in a bidding war. Manchester United wanted him, Real Madrid were interested, but it was Atletico Madrid who went all in. It only took one season for Atletico Madrid to break the club's transfer record, which was 72 million euros for Thomas Lemar the year before. But the 126 million euro transfer became the second highest at that time, behind Neymar's move to PSG. Felix was the most expensive Portuguese player of all time, surpassing Ronaldo's 117 million move to Juventus. He even won the Golden Boy Award, beating Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho. Atletico Madrid's president Enrique Cerezo said, "Some people are born with an innate talent that they show from a young age. The word that best describes Joao Felix is talent. At 19, he has a great career ahead of him, and we're proud that he chose the red and white colors." But the thing about hype is that it eventually needs to meet production. In his debut season, he had difficulties acclimatizing to Diego Simeone's team. Atletico Madrid under the Argentinian legend isn't really a place for artists, it's a war zone. High pressing, compact defending, brutal work rate. Every player was a soldier, every match was a battle. And Joao Felix, he was a poet thrown into an army. The talent that the Portuguese has could only thrive when given the freedom to do so. Simeone's system demanded sacrifice, but Felix couldn't keep up. Leading Spanish newspaper Marca named him one of the most disappointing transfers of the season. But there's a reason why Felix was rated so highly, and he proved it the following season. His second season started off on a right note, providing assists, scoring in the Champions League, and registered back-to-back braces against Osasuna and Cadiz in the league, which earned Felix the league's Player of the Month for November 2020. But a succession of injuries and lack of game time saw Felix losing his starting place. But on the 16th of May, Felix provided a crucial assist to secure a comeback victory over Osasuna. That game was the turning point that ensured Atletico Madrid stayed top of the league, and the club won their first La Liga title in 7 years. The spotlight was back on him. Fans began to believe that the money was well spent, because in his third season, he continued showing the world what he was made of. And Felix was voted the club's Player of the Year, finishing the 2021-22 season on 10 goals and 6 assists. He could have scored more if not for Simeone's style of play. Every time he looked ready to explode, he was asked to work harder, to press high, and track back to help the defenders. The same demands that made Atletico ruthless made Felix miserable. And soon, the cracks started to show. He was subbed off early in games where he couldn't thrive, benched for long stretches, and eventually frozen out from the lineup. The joy was gone, and you could see it in his body language. Things went sour when Felix publicly criticized Diego Simeone. The coach didn't take it too well, and by 2022, the situation got worse, as Felix became the 5th choice forward, behind Griezmann, behind Morata, behind Correa, behind Matheus Cunha. the Spanish media started calling him a flop, and Felix decided enough was enough. He did what all prodigies would do. He called his agent and said, "Get me out." This sounded like a wise thing to do, but the problem? The next move would be even worse. And you know what's worse? Is that you continue watching without hitting the like and subscribe button. Because that would be the wise thing to do as well. Don't forget to turn on notifications too. Moving on, in January 2023, Joao Felix's ordeal finally came to an end. Chelsea signed him on loan, and for a league that rewards creativity and a team desperate for attacking talent, his move looked like the perfect redemption arc. Except Chelsea in 2023 wasn't a football club. They were the worst version of themselves. No direction, no plan, new ownership, new manager every few months, and Felix walked right into the fire. He made his debut against Fulham, showed flashes of brilliance, then got subbed off in the 58th minute. He received a 3-match ban, and his new start was ruined by one reckless tackle. By the time he returned, Chelsea's season was already in flames. Too many players, too few ideas. He managed 4 goals in 16 league appearances, but registered 0 assists, and Chelsea finished in the 12th position. And Felix, forgotten again. His next stop, Barcelona. Again, it felt right for him. A club that's never shy of attacking talent. Felix stepped right into a team built on tactical brilliance and creative freedom. He called it a dream come true. He scored on his debut, linked beautifully with Robert Lewandowski, even scored home and away against Atletico Madrid, the ultimate revenge. For a while, the Camp Nou lights made him look like that Benfica kid again. But the pattern returned. As the season wore on, his form dipped, his energy dropped, and Xavi began to lose patience. Rumors leaked about his attitude in training, his inconsistency, his lack of intensity. It was the same story, just with a different badge. By February, he was benched. By April, forgotten. And when the season ended, Barcelona didn't even try to keep him. Not because they didn't afford him, because they didn't want him. That's when you start to realize the issue with Felix was about something much deeper. Because on the surface, everyone thought Joao Felix's downfall was tactical. Wrong systems, wrong managers, wrong positions. But the deeper truth, it was the people around him and something else in Felix. Behind every Joao Felix move was Jorge Mendes, the super agent who built his empire on Cristiano Ronaldo's back. It was Mendes who pushed the 126 million transfer to Atletico. Mendes convinced Felix it was his time to be the next Ronaldo, and the agent pocketed a huge paycheck along with it. For him, Felix wasn't a player, he was a product, a brand, a golden ticket to another record deal. The Portuguese was back at Chelsea, and guess what? It was payday for Jorge Mendes again. He helped Felix secure a massive 7-year contract. No one knows how much agents are paid for this, but you can be sure it's good money. For some reason, Felix was the perfect money-making human, and the need to orchestrate another move for another commission saw Mendes securing another move. Every time Felix needed stability, his agent talked him into it. This time on loan to AC Milan in February 2025. For the remainder of the season, injuries hampered his progression and he made just 6 appearances for Milan. The king of football agents does it again. Big move that involves big clubs, big money, but no plans that help the player develop. Ever wonder if Felix himself believed the myth too? I mean, when you're 19, rich, famous, and called the next Ronaldo, humility doesn't come naturally, and he rightfully believed in his qualities too. But that's where the entitlement crept in. He thought he didn't need to adapt, didn't need to adjust, didn't need to train harder or even take a step back to move forward. He could have joined Newcastle, a team rising again with ambition and a clear plan. But Felix said no. When Benfica offered him a chance to return and rediscover his form, again, he said no. In his mind, those weren't steps forward. He wanted to relaunch, but he was never willing to rebuild. He believed in himself so much that he wanted to be seen, So much so that what he didn't realize was that the cameras never stopped following him. His lifestyle was also being watched. His relationship with Magui Corseiro, Portugal's social media star, became tabloid gold. Photos of parties, fashion shoots, and rumors all crept into his life. And no, he didn't do anything wrong. Magui did. Clips of her in nightclubs, photos with other athletes, rumors of cheating, leaks, and scandals. It all turned into a public frenzy. Today, Joao Felix is no longer the boy wonder. Not sure how much Mendes is involved in this one, but the desire to be anything like Cristiano Ronaldo has gotten him closer. He now plays for Al Nassr alongside his idol, passing out on Champions League nights and Ballon d'Or chatters. The irony is poetic. The kid who was once called the next Ronaldo is now literally playing next to him, not as the heir, but as the apprentice. And slowly, you can see glimpses of the old Felix returning. The confidence, the flair, the moments of magic. He's since earned a starting place in Portugal again, ahead of Rafael Leao and even Pedro Neto. He's only 26, young enough to rewrite his story. But the truth is, this isn't a comeback yet. Because no matter how many goals he scores in Saudi Arabia, Joao Felix will always carry that label, the wonder kid every team in Europe gave up on. He isn't the only one like this. If you like this video, check out this next one too, and I'll see you there.